Shalom, Mubaraka, Mishpaka, peace and blessings, family. Today we're going to work together on and basically find a biblical location. Yes, a location that not even I know, right? Me and you are going to work together and we're going to find a biblical location. In fact, I'm going to teach you how I have found many biblical locations. And I'm so confident that this video is going to be relatively short because it's so easy. So one biblical geographical location stood out to me when I was reading 1 Samuel chapter 14. And it's an area called Bozez and Seneh, which are two sharp rocks by the road leading to the Philistines' military base. And it says in 1 Samuel 14:4, and between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines, there was a sharp rock on one side and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of one was Bozez, and the name of the other was Seneh. Okay. Now, the reason why this stood out to me is because very great detail is given in this area of scripture. And surely you'll be able to find something like this in the Middle East. Surely you'll be able to find two sharp rocks that are a geographical location in modern Israel, but you cannot. All modern Israel's landscape is simply rolling hills. There are no mountains and there are no sharp rocks. Okay. Once you look up Bozez and Seneh in the Middle East, it'll show you two hills and a valley. So let's pay attention to what we read in verse 4. It's between the passages, meaning it's between two roads, all right, or near an intersection of roads. See, in order to find these lands, we have to gather all the details that the scripture is giving us. There's two sharp rocks. One is called Bozez, and the other is called Seneh. So my move now is to look at what does Bozez mean and what does Seneh mean, because it's going to help me understand more of how to identify these rocks. So I always go to the Strong's Concordance app and I click Bozez. It comes from Bozez, meaning shining, okay, which comes from boots, which means to bleach, meaning white, right? Okay, so with that being said, we're talking about white pointy rock, a large white pointy rock mountain-like geographical formation. Now, the other is called Seneh. Seneh means thorn, okay, as we already knew that. However, now we have to ask ourselves, why is it called thorn? Why is a rock called thorn? It could be two reasons that I can think of off the top of my head. Perhaps this rock has thorn bushes growing next to it or near it or on it. Or perhaps this is the sharpest one, or perhaps it's sharp and curved or something like that, and it's shaped like a thorn, or it looks like a thorn. Who knows? But it's simply called thorn. Okay. But I want to focus on Bozez, the shining rock, right? And the reason why I want to focus on that is because if we're having a rock that is sharp, sticking out of the ground, and it shines, that's immediately letting me know that that's a granite batholith, which is basically an igneous volcanic eroded formation, which forms when volcanic magma cools and hardens on the Earth's surface. But with years and years of weathering and erosion, the magmatic soil that was formed from the volcano basically weathers away and is no longer visible, but all you can see is these tall chunks of granite everywhere. And this is basically how Yosemite National Park formed. This is also batholith was also in the middle of the Mojave Desert, and this actually collapsed and caused the waters to stream forth to give the Israelites drink in the wilderness. By the way, I made a video on that. Check this video out if you have not. There's very informational things in that video that you need to watch. But for right now, this is letting me know that this is a granite batholith. Granite is filled with quartz that shines white. It's a crystal that's literally white, and it shines and glistens in the sun. So this is letting me know right here that this is some type of granite batholith structure. So let's look at more context on where exactly Bozez and Seneh could be. So we have to find more context of where in Israel this could be. We see that it's a military base of the Philistines, so my first assumption would probably be that it's somewhere in the southern part of Canaan. However, there's conflicting information, because in 1 Samuel 14 and verse 2 it says, "And Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree which is in Migron. And the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah the son of Ahitub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, the son of Eli, Yahuwah's priest in Shiloh, wearing an ephod. And the people knew not that Jonathan was gone." And between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on one side and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of one was Bozez, and the name of the other was Seneh. The forefront of one was situated northward over against Michmash, and the other southward over against Gibeah. Now, Gibeah was a very important location in the territory of Benjamin. So we're dealing with the territory of Benjamin here. We're not dealing with the territory of southern Judah. And the Philistines were known to spread themselves around the entire landmass of ancient Israel, ancient Canaan, to fight against us. So it's not really that much of a surprise that the Philistines could have built a military base that far north. Now that we know that the sharp rocks were near Gibeah, let's find its exact geographic relationship with Gibeah. It says the forefront of one was situated northward over against Michmash, and the other southward over against Gibeah. So one of them, the one at the south, was basically towards Gibeah, and the one that was north was towards Michmash. So according to Migration Series 6.1, I basically told you guys that the land of Gibeah was this area right here, because Gibeah means hills. This could not be the case, because this would be Ephraim's territory, and the land of Gibeah was not in Ephraim, but simply in Benjamin. Benjamin's territory would have been this whole area right here, and that's including Jerusalem. Also, these are not truly hills. These are actually just a very ancient mountain range, similar to the Appalachians or the Ozarks. Just very old, weathered and eroded mountains. When it comes to hills, they're not easily seen from satellite view. Speaking of satellite view, shout out to Valerie Thomas, the Black Queen. Without her, satellite imagery as we know it would not be possible, and Migration Series would not be possible, and none of us would even be able to be finding the land. So shout out to Valerie Thomas. Y'all use this woman to create the technology that we're using right now. Anyway, let's look at actual hills and compare that to mountains. As you see, these are hills. These are hills right here. All the green, that's mountains. The reason why they're green while the surrounding area is brown and grayish is because they're at a different altitude. They have a different oxygen carbon dioxide ratio. and different plants can grow in that area. When you have things low to the ground, they're the same color as the ground. So when we're looking for hills, they're not going to be high up. They're not going to be green as we see in the mountains. They're not going to be full of those evergreen trees that grow in all these mountains here. Now, anyway, Judges chapter 19, there was a Levite who had a concubine, and they were both sojourning in Mount Ephraim. Mount Ephraim would be right here in the Raft River mountain range of the northern tip of Utah. His concubine played the whore against him and fled to her father's house, which was just south of Jerusalem in the city of Bethlehem, Judah. So she would have fled to this location here, his general location here. In 4 months' time, the husband would have made his way to her father's house to talk to his father and dwell with her father, and went to Jebus, which was Jerusalem. But he said there's no Israelites here because there was just Jebusites in the areas. Then he went from Jerusalem to Gibeah. And Gibeah would have been just between Mount Ephraim and Jerusalem. All this territory here was Gibeah, and it was inhabited by Benjamites. This whole area here was the hill country of Gibeah. All of this was the hill country of Gibeah. So as you see, it even says Cedar Hills. These are hills, guys. These are hills. So, with that being said, this is the true location of Gibeah. So, since Gibeah is directly south of Bozez and Seneh, we have to be looking north of this area. And when we look north of this area, we have to be searching for any type of granite stones that may be sticking up out of the ground. Okay, I see some here. You know, it may be a little hard to find them, honestly, but we don't give up around here. We're looking for the sharpest ones we can find, guys. Between the passages. A lot of roads that exist in ancient times still exist to this day. Oh, wait. Look at this. What is this? City of Rocks National Reserve. All that is bright white granite, guys. Wow. We got some beautiful scenery, but I don't really see any stones that are sharp. What's this? Twin sisters? But we see those trails. These could be very ancient, before cars and stuff, even before the settlers. These roads would have been used by the people who inhabited the land. And this area right here is between two passages. Also, what I wanted to note is one stone is to the north and one stone is to the south. Okay, the stone that is to the south, as we can see, this one would be Seneh, or thorn. It's more hook shaped. Perhaps that's why, or because all these thorn bushes right here. And this is Bozez, which is the whiter one. But look, this one got like some type of plant growth on it. Might be thorn bushes. So, guys. One is to the north, one is to the south. It's in between the passages, and it's directly above the hills, the land of the hills, Gibeah, right? Directly north of it. Clear picture of these stones, of these large rocks. And here's the saturated. As you can see, all that red that you can see in Seneh, that's called feldspar. When you're dealing with granite, you're dealing with two types of crystals. You're dealing with feldspar and you're dealing with quartz. As you can see, Bozez, which is the one to the north, has a very high proportion of quartz in the granite compared to the feldspar. And when we look at Seneh, which is toward the south, there's a higher portion of feldspar compared to the quartz. Once you go close to these rocks, you can see the feldspar in the stone is very simple, and you can see that there is clearly less in the one towards the north. Meaning the one towards the north is basically brighter white than the one toward the south, which fits the biblical description as well. And guys, I must add that these are no small rocks, all right? The height of this is about 378 feet, 73 feet taller than the Statue of Liberty. This is a huge, humongous natural formation. You understand that? Also, another thing I want to point out is the very obvious fact that scripture goes into enormous detail to describe this formation, almost as if it was unseen by most of the people of Israel, almost as if the people who they were writing to had no clue about this formation, almost as if they're trying to paint a picture in the heads of the reader, because the people simply did not know much about this formation, which indicates perhaps that the Holy Land is large, a huge territory with a spread out population, instead of being a tiny little area with a squished up population, and everybody knows everything about the land and there's nothing to discover and things like that. When the writer described Bozez and Seneh, he described it in a way as if it was a discovery, as if there's not that many people that knew about it at the time, which indicates again that this was a large landmass that still had territory to be discovered and places that needed to be seen. And this was after the time of Saul and David, when the scribe began to write this, and the children of Israel still did not discover and see 100% of the land, which shows you guys that this land was large. Yah said he would give us a large land. If you think large land equals a land that's only 3 times larger than Rhode Island, then something's wrong. If you simply research the smallest countries in the world, you won't be surprised to find that Israel is on the list. In fact, it's in the top 10 smallest non-island countries on earth. And this is the land that Yah said he would give us, and it's a large land.